Hi everyone, so today we're going over Unit 1, Lesson 7, Literary Devices. So specifically today we're going over figurative language, and figurative language is especially important because it helps you more meaningfully convey complicated ideas or clarify upon those ideas. So there's two categories for figurative language. The first are figures of speech. So first we have simile. So that's when you compare two things using like or as. So for instance, cool as a cucumber. You're saying something is cool, or you're comparing cool and cucumber, and you're using the connecting word as. For instance, a metaphor is different because instead of saying like or as, it just compares the two things without any connecting word. So whereas a simile would say cool as a cucumber, a metaphor would just say cool cucumber, like you are a cool cucumber. So next is personification, which is giving human qualities to non-human things. So that could be a lot of things. For instance, so an example of personification is like you could say the fireplace threw around sparks. So throwing is something humans do. And by saying that a fireplace can do that instead, you're using personification. So when you see the word personification, it has the word person in it. So just think if a person can do this, but in the writing, like an object is doing it instead, that's when you know it's an example of personification. Next, we have hyperbole. So a hyperbole is just any exaggeration. And most of the time, it's an impossible exaggeration. So you could say like, I'm hungry enough to eat a horse. So realistically, you could never possibly eat an entire horse, which is why this is an exaggeration and it's an example of hyperbole. And then next we have sound device. So that's the second category for figurative language. So onomatopoeia is a word that sounds like the noise it's describing. So for example, oink, chirp, hiss, honk, giggle, these are all words that describe noises. And the word itself means the noise, like a pig oinks, and an oink is the sound that a pig makes. Some non-examples of onomatopoeia are yell or loud. So while those also are related to noise and sound, the words yell or loud themselves aren't describing a specific noise. So if you can't remember what onomatopoeia means, just remember that it's a really confusing sounding word and it's related to sounds. And I hope that helps. And then next we have denotation versus connotation. So point blank, denotation just means the dictionary definition. So just the straightforward, like, what is this defined as? Whereas connotation talks about like a positive or negative association you have with a word. So the example I've given is smell, scent, stench. So they all sort of have the denotation or the dictionary definition of smell. Like you can smell that. But scent has a positive connotation. When you think of scent, you think of the sense of flowers or a floral sense. Whereas when you think of the word stench, you think, oh, the stench is like, you think stinky. You think, oh, the trash is stinking up this place. So those are the differences between denotation and connotation. And what I would really recommend in terms of learning all of these figurative languages are to be able to provide your own examples. I think if you can provide your own examples for each of them, then I think you have a good grasp on them. And I think in terms of like your test, if they're asking specific questions about different figurative language, then and you like are stuck, you don't know what to do or which one it is, then first I would recommend using process of elimination. So usually if it's multiple choice, hopefully you can remember something about figurative language and you can go down and be like, oh, well, I know it's not simile because there's no like or as, and hopefully that will help you narrow things down. You can also use context clues. So in the sentence they provide you with the example, using the other words in the sentence usually helps you understand like what is being used and how they're being used.